balancing act, loss and renewal. It's going to be in the chapel, which is just like this. The theme of the book came about as a result of having a series of losses and more as I've aged, both death and abandonment losses. I wanted to explore the conditions of loss and ways to work through it. The first part of the book centers on loss, grief, a bereavement group, and survival. Those are examples of it. The second half of the book is on renewal, speaks of some ways that I deal with loss, celebrating the beauty of nature, birds, flowers, and animals. There are 5 poems on my experience with cancer, and I look at human failings and family relationships. The style is emotional without being sentimental. I'll read Wolf in the Basement, which was the name of the first book, and there's a poem in here called that. Wolf is a metaphor in this poem. When the sky darkens, when bears nestle into hillside dens, when icy wind strips bayberry and elm, I squint at falling snow as though through layered cheesecloth. A sepia landscape saps my energy, shatters my well-being. I don't initiate phone calls or invitations. Procrastination is a given. I hear him pacing in the basement, sharp paws clacking on concrete. His lean limbs will climb the stairs to scratch a gloomy message on the door. Unhinged, I step outside to look for vibrant color. The red squirrel at the feeder, a purple finch, a cardinal in a burning bush. At dusk, a doe appears in the wood. We both freeze. Her white tail switches. Our eyes lock. I imagine we are bounding together in sunlight through a wildflower sea. As my melancholy lifts, I hear toenails clacking down the steps, retreating to the warm basement until next year. I make myself tea. Instead of just reading poem after poem here at this group, I'm going to discuss the rules of the guides to writing a poem that I've tried to build on. There is no taboo topic in poetry. You really can write about anything. Generally, I write a narrative way or storytelling type of poetry. One significant guide is writing with an economy of words, where adverbs and prepositional phrases are left out, and nouns and verbs carry the weight. And there's a poem that I've written called Summer Interlude that I think is an example of this. Summer Interlude. Only the barest pool gentles a moist neck swelter. A breeze as frail as a sparrow wing, welcome as a speckled fawn at twilight. As shadow's keyboard settles over the stubble lawn, hush stills the grackle's natter, quiets a woodchuck's romp through the garden. Like a favorite silk stole on a warm evening, dusk slips silently around bare shoulders, promising a grateful reprieve. Okay. Oh, I never did ask anybody about the wolf. Could anybody say what the wolf in the basement stands for?
The loss of the pet. Depression.
Called Anna the Book Thief. Don't ask me to be nice. Nice has nothing to do with me, or with Papa, or Mama, or even the Jew. I was amiable playing soccer in the rubble of Munich Street, content staring into Papa's silver blue eyes as he played the accordion. I tried for cheery when we hid Hans the Jew in our basement, lying under paint cloths, reading Mein Kampf. He had swampy, brightened eyes, feathered hair, a sweet, low voice. I read to him for 2 years. When the bombs obliterated our house, a few books were all I had left. Books I stole, one by one, from Nazi bonfires. After that, nice had nothing to do with me. Margaret floating in thin air. Our American friend, Todd, celebrates my engagement to Robert in a Swiss chalet at the top of the Matterhorn. It is late when we clip on our skis for the long ride down. Standing high against the Monte Rosa clouds, I can see Zermatt already in shadow. We traverse down through a darkening wood, pockmarked with ice, a scary trail. A rope stretches across 2 trees. Verboten. Is a shortcut down worth the try, says Todd. Uh-oh, I can see a wide U-turn ahead of me near the mountain's edge. Sensing my concern, Robert pats my arm. I'll ski down with Todd. Margaret, why don't you ride with the ski patrol? I want to stay with you. Robert and Todd ski around the steep curve, digging in their sharp edges, hugging the mountain. Oh, good, they're safe. It's my turn. Slowly now. Keep those skis close together. Okay, wait. I'm moving faster toward the edge. The icy ruts. Damn, my edges won't dig in. Oh, Lord, I'm losing control. Oh, my God, I missed the turn. I'm falling. Oh, no, Robert, help me, please. You told me not to try it. Oh, God, we can't marry. My red hat's gone. I'm floating. I'm freezing. Don't look down, for God's sakes. Treetops, falling fast. So dizzy. Jagged rocks. Mom, Dad. Our Father, who art in all currents of grief, like a fierce tide off coastal Ireland, they come and go in gasps, wind shrieking, spume crashing over jagged rocks, spewing anger in its wake. As it licks the wounded shore, confidence erodes. Great loss is a tugging back and forth, anguish that ebbs and flows at will, in and out, unpredictable, often leaving me speechless. Dormant as a beached whale, I'm pulled out to sea again by a frightful undertow, bottom scraping, an ancient cycle carrying me back where I don't want to go. Knocked sideways by huge waves of helplessness. I do not speak of the wall that grips my heart, a knot of pain and disbelief. Friends say time heals all, yet I wonder if I cry or speak. Will grief engulf me, reduce me to a frail image out of sync with friends? Will time really heal my fractured self? Can I plan a new life without you? Alone, who will I be? Will I be next? Note to Michelangelo. I'm writing to tell you that the Sistine Chapel was so crowded I could barely see your ceiling except for an abundance of naked cherubs floating on cotton candy clouds. I did see the centerfold where God breathed life into Adam through his pointing finger. The scene reminded me of when my father caught me lighting matches in the basement as he wagged his large finger at me. How could you stand it all those years, lying on your back on a hardwood scaffold while oil paint dripped in your hair, on your face, probably in your eyes? What dedication. You had a flair for carving gorgeous young athletes, from travertine marble. With their rippling pecs and generous genitals, it's clear you felt a deep physical connection to their sensual torsos. For example, the 9-foot-tall Florentine David, who preens as though in a photo shoot as he rests before the main event with Goliath. Looking at the tender Pietà in St. Peter's reduced me to tears. You certainly pulled out all the stops. Mother Mary, cradling her dead son Jesus in her lap, their pain, both raw and exquisite. You demonstrate how sadness and beauty can coexist through posture and gesture and a sharp chisel. Did I tell you that you're my hero, Michelangelo? Where I come from, there aren't many heroes. I wish I could pull aside the curtain and borrow you for my son's 6th birthday party. You could show him how to draw faces and fill out those funny sticks for arms and legs. In the New York Minute, shiny and untried at 22, I walked toward my 4th floor walk-up with a Chef Boyardee spaghetti pot, tennis racket strainer, a dented pan for coddling eggs, and one cracked plate. At 2nd Avenue, I see a fluorescent sign, Christ the Florist. Chuckling at the owner's creative arrogance, I buy daisies and head toward my flat. He stumbles toward me, cradling a bottle in his arms, like a newborn. Tall and tattered with a feed me sign around his neck. He shouts epithets, clutches my arm. I freeze, stare into bleary eyes, wince at his sour breath, his rage spilling onto the pavement. I push his chest. As light as a scarecrow, he rolls into the gutter on top of the daisies. City traffic veers around us, ignoring my plea. Fumbling for the key, I race up 4 flights past a neighbor practicing his trumpet and slide through my door just as an ambulance pulls up to carry out the woman and 1B who collapsed over collard greens and cabbage. Trembling, I work 3 locks and pull across the chain. Called survival. Jenna came home Thursday, tan from a tour in Afghanistan, an extra stripe on her sleeve. Her parents used to marvel at her radiant skin. Now they saw deep shadows beneath her eyes, harshness around her mouth. She felt their unbridled joy, gratitude at having her home. Her mother and sister's teary eyes shone with love. Her father praised her for her bravery in the line of duty. No one spoke of her right arm missing when the truck exploded, leaving 8 Marines trapped inside. She wanted to weep at the memories of that day, for the sorrow and shame, to cry at the fact that she was alive. Her ears kept hearing shrieks in the putrid air. Her buddy yelling over and over for his mother. She had run fast through friendly fire, across a pockmarked desert, dodging landmines, until she dropped deep into a shell hole, clutching earth, her right arm tight against her. She couldn't tell them of the desperate failings of her and her comrades at the point of death, screaming for their mothers, pleading for a second chance. No one ran away from the enemy except her. She realized she'd drawn a veil over it all. That's how life is, she thought. Military bravery is ostensibly a given. She felt protected by the silence that anesthetizes shame. When Jenna hugged her parents and her younger sister, they could not face the reality of her empty sleeve. It's called Diva. She stalks me every afternoon at 4, looking for a tuna dinner in a bowl striped red and silver like my old Honda. Her short tail curls in a bent S, a tail interrupted, pushed out of shape at birth when she and her 6 siblings scrambled for Mama's swollen teats, musical kittens with not enough to go around. 19-pound Maria plays her favorite dinner time game. As soon as I hold up an unopened can of chicken of the sea tuna, she runs at me with a loud meow, asking me to rub the can against the length of her silky black and white girth. We smile and blink, our eyes lock. Maria thinking of her fish, I wondering how often we commune like this. Salivating moments, yet countless servings untouched. She claws at the carpet beside her dinner. Is she teasing? Is she tired of tuna? I smother her with compliments. My lovey girl, or my favorite kitty. Why do I continue to buy her tuna fish at over $1 a can? I wipe off the counter with a dollar store sponge.